Alright, welcome back. Alright, so since the last video I went outside and got this plant right here. It actually is from a full-grown tree, so this right here has the potential to become a tree. I just got it from the park nearby, so I'm just trying to grow that right now, but I don't really expect it to, grow and use it as a way to absorb the nutrients in the water. It's literally just an experiment. I'm trying to figure out the nature of plants, because some plants do absorb water more than others. So like the peace lily is always a thirsty plant, so that's what makes it really good in absorbing nutrients. So that's why I have the peace lily in the back, and also the phothos in the back as well. And these are actually the only two that have been growing really fast. I did grab another one right there, that is from my local park. And just a pro tip, if you don't know what the plant is, you can just use Google Lens, and Google Lens will, if you have a smartphone that has Google Lens, it should give you, I did Google Lens, Google search these plants, but I forget what they're called now. But you can definitely do that when you grab plants just out in the park. But again, it's just for looks. I don't really want to use it for a dedicated biofilter. And just an update with the fluidized moving bed right there. I think with that one, you need about like 3 to 4 months of it constantly cycling. So after 3 months, it should be it should have enough beneficial bacteria. I do also have the other stuff that I add in, like this beneficial bacteria as well for ponds. So this is like a lifetime supply for me because it's super concentrated. I don't need that much to really add, but yeah, if you really want to cycle your system. But mine is not that mature yet. I'll give this another maybe 3 months for it to mature into a really good system. So right now, I'm just letting it be. I'm not touching anything anymore. In the beginning, I know that I was touching a lot of things, but as you can tell, like in the 100 gallon that I have here, there is no actual sump or anything like that, right? Like if I take you with me right here, you're gonna notice that I have a sponge filter right there. I have another phothos plant, this time submerged there, and then I have a bunch of like bio ceramic media right there. But these have been here longer than the fluidized moving beds, so there's more beneficial bacteria, I assume, that's already thriving on the surface. And then also I have the I'm not sure what it's called, but I'll include the name of it. But this one actually absorbs nutrients really well, to a point where the water is nutrient deficient, I think. So get you some of these floating plants, for pond setups. They're really nice, like mine, or just for regular aquariums. And their roots get really long, so you can also use them for breeding. All of the juvenile fish will, the fry, can use it as a refuge. But like I said, it's really good in absorbing nutrients. So to be honest, I think I'm gonna do like an experiment right now. From the moment this video is filmed, I just, it's been, I would say, a couple months now that this has been you know, left as is. So this you know, what once you set up your tank, right, you leave it as is, and then that's pretty much it. You just maintain it, because you have a system going already, right? So I have a system going. It's you know, maturating, it's reaching maturity. A couple more months, I would say, and it should be good. But this is a heavily stocked tank. I have 2 Oscars, a Parachromis, Loziel. I can never get that name right, but I also have 10 Severums in here. So, and 3 Plecos, 3 bristle nose Plecos, in a 100 gallon, and then a bunch of mystery snails. But the bio load is pretty high, and I think it's holding up with everything that I have. So if you're considering 100 gallon pond style, and just check out my setup. It's the bare minimum. I only have a T5 light bar above, keeping these plants alive and lighting the aquarium. But so far it's stable. The system is not crashing. I just keep it aerated. This whole thing is just working off of one air pump. So, you know, I spliced it into different, I'll show you actually. So all of them are spliced this way, but this thing is rated for 250 gallons of output of air. So I have 2 of these, right? So in the 40 gallon in the plants, I have another one, but I really recommend it. It's really quiet, really powerful, and no issues with it. So that brings me to the next thing that I did do, which is I did get an RO system. So finally I got an RO system here. This is the reservoir, or the reserve, if you will. I keep it aerated. So I just discovered that aerating water actually clears up chlorine, or just leaving it out. So if you don't have a water conditioner, you can just leave your untreated water, tap water, for about 24 hours, and the chlorine should evaporate. So it's the same thing here. I have an aerating air stone, and then obviously I have the automatic irrigation connected to this reservoir, so that I don't even have to do any water changes. All I do are top ups, and this is what tops it up basically. So this tank is filled with 50% tap water and 50% RO. That's the recipe that I use. So far it's been working pretty well. Now I know I do have an acid buffer as well that I use. This is literally just because of the water chemistry here in Calgary. So that's what I'm working with. Really hardy water, and you know, alkaline. So I wanted to soften it up, and also yeah, make it more acidic, because that's what the bettas and the wild types like. At least the splendens that you buy from the store don't really mind tap water, just plain tap water. But I just made all of the tanks there 50% tap and 50% RO, and plus they're pulling from a 50-50 reservoir here. But I staggered it into different stages because I didn't want the risk of flooding. So even if this somehow keeps on you know, absorbing the water, I guess, it's only filled up to 10 gallons. So, you know, if it does overflow, this can handle another 10 gallons until it's full. So there's really no risk of overflowing in that case. Same with the other tanks. I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's not really a big deal to have this reservoir like that. I could have gotten like a 20 gallon brute, but again, I just didn't want too much. I didn't want the whole water supply available but again, you know, budget as well, right? This is what I had available, and it works for me. This is a 18 gallon, and with my automatic water irrigation, which is a drip style, it only really you know, reduces the amount by like an inch. So it's been 3 days now, so it took out this much. So I would say this 18 gallon gives me a week's worth supply of water to top up the tanks when the water evaporates. So I don't really need much more than that. This does the job, and I refill it as needed. And so the way I refill it is I do have pure RO. This is pure RO that I got from the tap, and it's really cold because it's connected to my cold line, cold pipe. But I'm just letting it get to room temperature, and when it's time to fill that up, again, I do a 50-50 mix. So one full bucket, which is 5 gallons of RO, and then another full bucket of just regular tap water for that 50-50 mix. And then just wanted to show kind of like how I installed this RO system here. So basically I had to you know, poke a hole there basically, and I'm using John Guest fittings. These are probably your best bet when you're working with pressurized water. You know, I found that out. So when I did find that out, it was not good. It was just, you know, water was everywhere. But make sure you don't do a DIY for this kind of stuff. The pressure is about 80 psi, depending on the, you know, how your water system is. But you know, around that range, still enough to burst whatever DIY tubing that you have installed, or if you taped it. I would say just go with a John Guest fitting. It gives you peace of mind and reduces the risk of flooding. So it's connected to the main line, so that's a big risk. But yeah, I have the drain going out into the pipes here, and then what I do is I just grab this line here, and then I bring it all the way to that bucket and just, you know, turn it on. But you know, I could have the option of actually you know, doing an actual run to the walls, have it like stapled to the wall or something. But I think this is doable. You know, it's less work. I think this is good enough. But yeah, this is the RO system. It's a 3-stage from Amazon. So, you know, $70 Canadian. Can't go wrong. I do have another water filter there, but that's for drinking water. So I actually have 2 filter waters here. One is for the fish and one is for us. And I don't really want to drink RO water, so I kept it as separate. I don't think anyone wants to drink RO water, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. So yeah, that's the RO system. So now that I have my 2 systems in RO, it should actually reduce the amount of conditioning that I need to do, because when I test the RO water, right? So let's do a test right now, actually show you what the RO looks like. And if you've been watching my channel, you know my struggles with high pH and, you know, the minerals, GH, right? KH, you know, all that stuff, right? Well, the RO water, this is pure RO, right? So, you know, this is a fresh script, and right now, let's just turn on the light here for a second. So, as you can see, everything is just by default at 0. So, you know, we dip it for 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3. After 3 seconds, we compare, and as you can see, right across the board, everything is 0. Obviously, there's no nitrated nitrite because this is fresh water. 0 chlorine, 0 general hardness, 0 alkalinity, 0 carbonate, and well, not 0 pH, but I would say it's at a 6, which is really, really low. So yeah, that's RO. It saves you, if you just invest that $70 from Amazon to buy that 3-stage RO, it saves you the daily or however often you condition your water, because I don't actually have the need for, since I got the RO, I don't really need the acid buffer anymore. So I might just use it for special occasions. Again, it reduced the need for the neutral regulator, which I heavily relied on for lowering pH. So these two I relied on for lowering the pH, but now that I have 0 across the board for the what is it called, the pH, then, or not pH, but most of the things on the testing strip that it tests for. And then what else? Well, that's the thing, when you have, that's why I use 50-50, because I didn't want to strip the water of all the minerals, so I didn't want to remineralize it. So I just do the 50-50 recipe, and that seems to be working at the moment, so let's keep an eye on that. But going back to the plants, you're probably wondering why these were here in the first place. It's just to see which kinds of plants absorb water better, and I can tell you right now, these are really slow. This is the ficus, this is the jade plant, this is the olive, this is the mink stump. At some point I'm going to take them out because they're not really good at absorbing nutrients. The ones that are battle tested are the phothos, the peace lilies, English ivies, monsteras, and then that floating plant that I just told you. So but that's been it. I mean, there's also the 10-gallon that I have here. This 10-gallon is pretty cool. I moved some of the black panda guppies in here, but it is a no light setup. As you can see, like, most of my setups are very low tech, very energy efficient. The only thing running in this tank right now is the bubbler, the sponge filter, which is connected to an air pump, and that's pretty much it. That's really all I do, because I'll be putting in a wild type Betta in here at some point, and as you know, wild type Bettas don't really like bright lights, because they're from small pockets of water in between the trees and the swamps, rice fields, right? So the very dark environment, very small space. So I'm trying to mimic that as much as I can at this moment. So yeah, this is also 50-50 in preparation for those wild types that I'm about to get, half and half. So and then I put the guppies in here just to cycle the tank faster. So by the time I get those fish, this is a fully cycled tank, and it would be safe enough to add more bi-load into it and increase it that way. So yeah, I mean, that's been it. Just I still have the Smaragdina male here, and then the Smaragdina female here. I do have them side by side so they can see each other every day, get used to each other, because I do plan on breeding them at some point. And they are my own. I bred them myself, so this is first generation, I guess. So I lost the parents, but I have the two last living pair, so we'll see how that goes. But that's been it. Let me know what your thoughts are, and yeah, go for RO. So yeah, see you in the next video.